First of all, give us some background on what happened to your daughter.
Well, my daughter had taken some photos in the mirror alone in her room and sent them from her cell phone through her email to her computer. And then she was hacked 3 months later. And 9 days after that, her photo, her topless photo, ended up on a revenge porn website. And that's how it all got started. That's the first time I heard about revenge porn.
You've been called the Erin Brockovich of revenge porn ever since you started your campaign to go after these sites. What's been the most difficult obstacle you faced during this fight?
Well, getting the photo down was extremely difficult because the website operator didn't want to comply with copyright law, even though we served him with a Digital Millennium Copyright Act notice or a takedown notice. He didn't want to comply with the law. And so I had to go through so many maneuvers to try to get this photo removed. And I also reached out to victims all over the country in order to help them get their photos removed. So it ended up being a really huge ordeal. These website operators tend to not be afraid of civil law. They're very afraid of law enforcement, and that's why criminal laws are so important to put them in place. But with civil law, most of them don't, these website operators don't have assets. They're not afraid that a victim is going to sue them because it's going to cost a victim $60,000 to bring a lawsuit to fruition, and then they're probably not going to get any money on the other end of the deal. And plus, they have to have their names linked with the lawsuit, which means that they're going to be linked with nude pictures, which is exactly what these victims don't want to have happen.
What's your response to what the Attorney General in California did today?
I'm really encouraged. I'm so happy that law enforcement is taking this issue seriously. And so it's a huge step in the right direction, and it sends a message to these other website owners and to those who may submit photos of victims. And so it's really encouraging. I'm also happy that the FBI was able to take the case that I took to them about my daughter and about all the other victims who were hacked, and that case is still open. And I'm really hoping that down the road there will be some sort of arrests with respect to that case.
I want you to listen to what the founder of one revenge porn site you've targeted had to say during an interview with ABC last year when he was asked whether he feels bad about what he does.
I mean, to me, I don't know these people, and it's kind of anonymous to me. I think the people submitting it are the ones who should be, feeling bad when they do click that submit button.
Given what your daughter went through, what would you say to him in response?
Well, I think he is just as guilty as those who submit the photos. And what Hunter Moore wants to do is hide behind the Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which is the biggest barrier right now to holding the website operators responsible. And that's why a federal law is needed, because there's no state law that is going to be able to trump the Communications Decency Act. So in other words, you can never hold the website operator responsible unless you put a federal law in place. And that's why for the last few months, I've really been pushing Barbara Boxer's office to move forward with some sort of federal law. She says that she is looking at California. She wants to see what happens with the amendment. And we are bringing an amendment forth in about a week. Senator Cannella in California is going to announce that amendment, which is very strong. And she wants to see what happens with that before she makes a final decision.